NASA says that Voyager 1 has become the first man-made object to reach interstellar space, the cold, dark region between stars.
I look at Artemis 2 as a absolutely tiny step in the broader Artemis architecture that NASA has generated. We've set the strategy that we would like to see humans on Mars.
A lone probe, launched nearly 50 years ago, is sending back a message from the void between the stars. But it's not the message humanity sent. It's a message that confirms what NASA has been dreading since the dawn of the space age. The data coming back is impossible. The probe is changing course on its own, and it's pointing to a dark, empty spot in the cosmos. We are about to reveal the classified telemetry data that proves our greatest fear is now a reality. Something out there found our messenger, and it is sending a reply. The hijacked probe. In the unimaginable cold and darkness of interstellar space, something is happening to Voyager 1. This tiny spacecraft, roughly the size of a small car, is now over 14.5 billion miles from its home. Launched way back in 1977, its mission was only supposed to last 5 years. But somehow, against all odds, this machine from another era is still talking to us. Recently, though, the conversation has taken a terrifying turn. It's sending back signals, patterns, and data that simply don't make sense. It's a mystery that points to a chilling question. Did Voyager 1 find something in the empty space between stars? Or, even more frightening, has something out there found Voyager 1? This isn't just a technical glitch, it's the confirmation of a deep-seated fear that NASA has held since the very beginning. The fear that we are not just being watched, but that we are hopelessly outmatched. The story of Voyager begins not with this current mystery, but with a rare cosmic alignment, a perfect planetary billiard shot. Back in the early 1970s, astronomers realized that Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune were about to line up in a way that only happens once every 175 years. It was a once-in-a-lifetime chance. This alignment would let a spacecraft use each planet's gravity as a cosmic slingshot, flinging it from one to the next in a grand tour. NASA couldn't pass this up, so they designed twin spacecraft, Voyager 1 and 2, built to withstand the journey. These things were marvels of their time. Each Voyager probe weighed about 1,800 pounds and was packed with 11 scientific instruments. To power them, engineers couldn't use solar panels. The sunlight is just too faint out there. Instead, they used something called radioisotope thermoelectric generators, or RTGs. Think of them as nuclear batteries, using the heat from decaying plutonium to create electricity. It's a steady trickle of power that has kept the probes alive for decades longer than anyone dreamed possible. The engineering was incredible. They had to build systems that could work perfectly for years without any hope of repairs. The onboard computer had about 68 kilobytes of memory. That's less than what it takes to store a single low-quality photo on your phone today. It's truly a testament to the engineers of that era. On September 5th, 1977, Voyager 1 launched, following its twin, Voyager 2, which had launched 16 days earlier on a slower path. As they sailed away, they represented the pinnacle of human curiosity. Little did anyone know that almost 50 years later, one of them would become a source of profound dread. What was once our ambassador to the stars may now be a puppet for something else. A postcard from the edge. Voyager 1's initial journey was nothing short of spectacular, a triumphant tour of our solar system's giants. 18 months after leaving Earth, in March of 1979, it reached Jupiter. And what it showed us completely rewrote the textbooks. Before Voyager, we saw Jupiter as a pretty, striped ball with a big red spot. Through Voyager's cameras, it became a world of terrifying and beautiful chaos. The Great Red Spot was revealed to be a colossal storm system, an anticyclone so massive it could swallow 3 Earths whole. The planet's colorful bands weren't just surface patterns. They were raging jet streams moving at hundreds of miles per hour. It was a world of unimaginable power. But here's the thing. The moons were the real headliners. Io, the innermost large moon, delivered a genuine shocker. Voyager spotted active volcanoes erupting in real time. This was the first time active volcanoes had ever been seen anywhere beyond Earth. They weren't spewing lava like ours, but sulfur compounds that painted the moon's surface in bizarre shades of yellow, orange, and red. It literally looks like a cosmic pizza. Then there was Europa, a smooth white moon covered in cracks like a shattered eggshell. Its surface was so strange that it led scientists to a mind-blowing theory. Beneath that ice shell could be a vast ocean of liquid water, an ocean that might be one of the best places in our entire solar system to look for extraterrestrial life. After its flyby of Jupiter, Voyager 1 raced on to Saturn, arriving in November of 1980. Once again, it turned our simple view into a complex, glorious reality. Saturn's rings, which look like solid bands from Earth, were actually made up of thousands of individual ringlets. Some were braided together, some had weird, dark spokes that seemed to appear and disappear. It was a cosmic dance of ice and rock on a scale that's hard to even wrap your head around. But it was Saturn's largest moon, Titan, that truly captured scientists' imaginations. It was the only moon in our solar system with a thick atmosphere. Voyager's instruments found it was mostly nitrogen, just like Earth's. This discovery was a game changer and directly led to the Cassini mission decades later, which found actual lakes and rivers of liquid methane on Titan's surface. It's funny when you think about it. A brief flyby by Voyager changed the course of planetary exploration for the next 40 years. With Saturn in its rearview mirror, Voyager 1's planetary mission was over. NASA chose to send it on a path out of the solar system, beginning its lonely journey into the interstellar void. But it wasn't a silent departure. At the suggestion of the great astronomer Carl Sagan, NASA turned Voyager's camera around one last time. In 1990, from nearly 4 billion miles away, it took the iconic pale blue dot image, a picture of Earth, seen as a tiny speck of light in a sunbeam, a humbling, profound image that shows our place in the universe. Then, to save power, the cameras were turned off. Voyager 1 went dark, sailing into the blackness, blind but still listening, still feeling its way toward the edge of everything we knew. But as it turns out, something else was out there listening too. Humanity's golden greeting card. Strapped to the side of Voyager 1 is a testament to human hope, a 12-inch gold-plated copper disc known as the Golden Record. It's a time capsule, a message in a bottle tossed into the cosmic ocean, designed to tell the story of Earth to any intelligent life that might stumble upon it millions of years from now. The story of how this record was made is almost as amazing as the probe itself. NASA gave a team led by Carl Sagan just 6 weeks to decide what to put on it. 6 weeks to summarize all of human history, culture, and life. Think about that pressure. The team worked around the clock, debating what music, sounds, and images should represent our entire world. The final result is an incredible collection. It contains greetings in 55 different languages, from ancient Akkadian, spoken 6,000 years ago, to modern dialects. It carries the sounds of Earth: wind, rain, volcanoes, birds, whales, and the deeply human sounds of laughter, footsteps, and a mother's kiss. The music is a journey across the globe and through time, featuring Bach's Brandenburg Concerto, a Navajo chant, a Peruvian wedding song, and even Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good. It's a mixtape for the universe. The record also holds 116 images encoded in analog form. These show diagrams of math and physics, photos of our planet's landscapes, people from all walks of life, and illustrations of our DNA. On the cover of the record are instructions, a cosmic user manual. There's a diagram showing how to play it, and a pulsar map designed to pinpoint Earth's location in the galaxy. This map uses the unique pulse rates of 14 pulsars to triangulate the position of our sun. It's a clever bit of celestial navigation, but it's also a massive gamble. We're literally giving aliens a map to our front door. At the time, it was an act of incredible optimism. Now, given what's happening with Voyager, it seems unbelievably naive. The chance of any civilization actually finding the record is tiny. The nearest star along Voyager's path is one it won't reach for another 40,000 years. But as Sagan said, the record was a symbolic act. It was a way of saying, we exist. There's something deeply moving about that golden disk, still sailing out there, carrying the sounds of our world into the infinite void. It represents humanity at its best. But what if that hopeful message was the biggest mistake we ever made? What if our friendly hello was interpreted as an invitation by something that doesn't share our sense of hope? Because the strange signals from Voyager suggest our message wasn't just received, it was answered, through the looking glass. After leaving the planets behind, Voyager 1 entered what engineers call the cruise phase. For decades, it sailed through the vast, empty outer reaches of our solar system. The public largely forgot about it, but the probe kept working, sending back a steady trickle of data. It was mapping the invisible boundaries of our solar system. You see, our sun creates a massive protective bubble around us called the heliosphere. It's a region dominated by the solar wind, a constant stream of charged particles flowing out from the sun. Outside this bubble is the interstellar medium, the stuff between the stars. Scientists didn't know exactly how big this bubble was, or what would happen when Voyager finally popped through it. For years, Voyager measured the solar wind getting weaker and the magnetic fields changing. Then, on August 25th, 2012, it happened. The instruments recorded a sudden, dramatic change. The number of particles from our sun plummeted, while the number of high-energy cosmic rays from deep space shot up. After months of analysis, NASA made the historic announcement: Voyager 1 had crossed the heliopause. It had officially left the solar system and entered interstellar space. Humanity had finally reached the stars. But what it found there was not what anyone expected. Scientists thought interstellar space would be quiet and uniform. Instead, Voyager found a place that was dynamic and full of surprises. The plasma, a superheated gas, was far denser than models predicted. The magnetic fields were stronger. And most bizarrely, Voyager detected what some called tsunami waves in the plasma, periodic oscillations as if the very fabric of space was vibrating. For a while, these oddities could be explained away. Maybe they were shock waves from our own sun's solar flares, finally catching up to the probe. But by 2017, the data started getting harder and harder to explain. The plasma waves were becoming more regular, more structured. They weren't fading with distance like they should. They were showing mathematical patterns. This is where the story goes from a scientific mystery to something much, much stranger. In late 2017, engineers noticed the system that keeps Voyager's antenna pointed at Earth was sending back gibberish. The telemetry said the antenna was pointing the wrong way, which should have made communication impossible. And yet, the signal was coming through loud and clear. It was a paradox. It was like getting a call from someone who tells you their phone is turned off. It was the first sign that the probe was no longer behaving according to the known laws of physics and engineering. Something, or someone, was beginning to interfere. And that interference was about to become terrifyingly direct. A message from nowhere. By the early 2020s, the anomalies weren't just strange, they were impossible. The spacecraft's temperature sensors, which should have been reading a steady 3 degrees above absolute zero, began showing rhythmic spikes. Every 4.8 hours, the probe would warm up significantly, then cool back down, a cycle that repeated with clockwork precision. This could only be caused by an external energy source. Worse, these temperature spikes matched the plasma wave oscillations perfectly. Whatever was out there wasn't just being observed by Voyager, it was physically interacting with it. The NASA team ran every diagnostic imaginable, but there was no internal explanation. The conclusion was inescapable. Voyager was being targeted by an unknown energy source. Then, things got even crazier. In mid-2024, mission controllers noticed the unthinkable. Voyager 1 was drifting off course. For 47 years, its trajectory was perfectly predictable. Now, it was making tiny, precise course corrections, as if being gently steered. It wasn't a malfunction. The adjustments were too deliberate. It was as if Voyager was being pulled toward a specific point in space, an empty point, with no star, no planet, nothing. When NASA tried to fire the thrusters to correct the drift, The probe reported that it executed the commands, but its trajectory remained unchanged. It was as if NASA's commands were being ignored, or worse, overridden. Control of the spacecraft had been lost. In a desperate move, NASA sent a command to reactivate the cameras, dormant for over 30 years. They never expected it to work. But 21 hours later, a response came. The camera system had turned on, using far less power than it should. But it didn't send a picture. It sent back a data visualization, a complex, spiraling pattern. It was a visual representation of the plasma wave data, something the probe's 1970s computer was completely incapable of creating on its own. It was a message. Something had not only taken control of Voyager, but had upgraded its software, turning our simple probe into its own sophisticated messenger. Systems that had been off for decades blinked back to life, sending back highly processed, compressed data. It was as if someone had installed a modern operating system on a vintage machine. The final transmission was the most chilling of all. Using data from distant pulsars, the new Voyager sent a three-dimensional map, a map that showed lines connecting various pulsars, all converging on a single point in space. The same dark, empty region of space that Voyager was now heading towards. The truth was undeniable. Voyager hadn't just made contact. It had been captured, repurposed, and sent on a new mission by an unknown intelligence. Online, theories are running wild. Some say Voyager stumbled into a piece of ancient alien technology, a sort of cosmic tripwire, or a von Neumann probe, a self-replicating robot designed to explore the galaxy. Others believe it has connected to a galactic internet, a network of information flowing between the stars. More frightening theories suggest it's a trap, luring us in. When you think about the scale of the universe, it's almost arrogant to think we're alone. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, has over 100 billion stars, and there are maybe 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. The numbers are just staggering. It makes you wonder, are we missing something? Is this happening right now, overnight, while we're all looking at our phones? Is this the moment we learn that our place in the cosmos is not just small, but utterly insignificant? The thing is, NASA's greatest fear was never about finding hostile aliens with lasers. It was about finding something so advanced, so beyond our comprehension, that it could reach out across the void and take our best technology and turn it into its own, without us being able to do a single thing about it. That fear is now a reality. Earth's secret keepers. The hijacking of Voyager 1 is terrifying enough on its own. It confirms that we're not the smartest kids on the block, not by a long shot. But here's a thought that's even more unsettling. What if this isn't first contact? What if the message Voyager is sending isn't a greeting from a new species, but a warning flare about the one that's been here all along? Now stick with me here, because this is where the rabbit hole gets deep. For decades, people have whispered about a secret hand guiding human history, a shadow government that operates beyond the control of any single nation. What if that shadow doesn't belong to humans at all? What if Earth has been under covert observation or even direct management by an alien intelligence for thousands of years? Think about it. Look at the last 100 years. Humanity went from horse-drawn carriages and the first flickering light bulbs to splitting the atom, mapping the human genome, and building a global internet in the blink of an eye. That's not normal progress. That's a quantum leap. Where did this sudden explosion of technology come from? Proponents of this wild theory suggest that key technologies, like the transistor, fiber optics, and even breakthroughs in genetic engineering, weren't invented by us. Instead, they were gifts, or carefully orchestrated leaks from our cosmic landlords, designed to steer our development in a specific direction. It's like we're a cosmic science fair project, and our caretakers occasionally drop a new piece of equipment into our enclosure to see what we'll do with it. Why would they do this? The theories branch off in a dozen different directions. Maybe they're protecting us from ourselves. It's funny when you think about it. During the Cold War, we had enough nuclear weapons to send humanity back to the Stone Age, yet we never pushed the button. Was that just luck, or was there a hidden influence making sure we never went too far? Perhaps they see us as a valuable, but volatile species worth preserving. Another, more sinister theory suggests we're being farmed for something. Not for food, but maybe for our creativity, our emotions, or even our very consciousness, something they may lack. This brings us to all the UAP sightings that governments are finally admitting are real. For years, we assumed they were visitors from other worlds. But what if they're not visiting? What if they're just the local landlords making their rounds, the gardeners tending their crop? It would explain why they've never made open contact. You don't sit down and negotiate with your lab rats. You just manage their environment to ensure the experiment continues. This is the ultimate fear NASA could have held. Not that we would find aliens, but that we would find out we've been living in a cosmic terrarium our entire existence, that our free will was never truly free. So how does Voyager 1 fit into all of this? This is the most mind-blowing part of the theory. The intelligence that intercepted Voyager isn't the same group that's been managing Earth. It's a rival faction, a second, completely different alien power that has just discovered what's been happening here. Maybe there are galactic laws against interfering with developing worlds, a kind of prime directive, and our secret landlords have been breaking that law for millennia. This new group, by taking over our most distant probe and sending back an impossibly clear message, a map pointing to their location, is not talking to us. They are talking to the aliens already here. It's a cosmic threat, a way of saying, we see you, we know what you're doing. And now the humans you've been controlling are about to find out too. Voyager isn't a messenger, it's a piece of evidence in a galactic dispute. So what happens when Voyager reaches its destination? And what kind of message will it send back then? Let us know your wildest theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more answers to the universe's greatest mysteries.